that are out there in a lot of businesses in San Antonio and South Texas. So how does that get remedied? How does it better? Are things improving? Adrian Lopez is the CEO of Workforce Solutions Alamo.
Thanks so much for being with us here tonight. You know, of course, we're still struggling our economy to recover from the effects of the pandemic. And it seems like there are a lot of businesses looking to hire, but maybe struggling to do that. Is that something that you're hearing from businesses? And if so, what's the challenge there right now?
Yeah, definitely. What we experienced, of course, over the course of the last 14, 15 months was approximately about 330,000 plus individuals that filed for unemployment. The good news is that we're heading north of about 50% of those folks that are actually back in the workforce. It still is a tight labor force environment or workforce environment. And so we are hearing from employers that they are having difficulty filling the positions that are currently open. If we take, for example, the food and accommodation services, which lost about 57,000 jobs during that time frame. About 32,000 of those folks that actually lost those jobs in those sectors are actually back at work. But we certainly understand and see that employers are struggling at the moment to fill all of their positions.
Are you seeing some of these employers have to raise their wages because of the demand that is out there for workers?
Yeah, definitely. Employers are doing, any number of things, including raising their wages, doing signing bonuses, doing tenured bonuses. They're doing a lot of things to try to be competitive in the market to ensure that they're actually trying to, meet their particular HR needs.
So from the employer perspective to the potential employee perspective, what are you hearing from people who are looking for a job right now? A lot of people, that's a high number of people who were without a job because of the pandemic. So what's the experience of those who are seeking a job at this point?
Yeah, so those that are job seekers actually have a much more, open market, if you will, a variety of jobs for them to select. Some of them are actually selecting to actually get into the job market and be currently looking for a job. There are still others who are participating in our training programs. For example, when we think about the city's Train for Jobs program, we literally have hundreds of folks that are in training today that are probably looking at moving from food and accommodation services to another type of industry.
And that's something that we had actually talked with Mayor Ron Nirenberg a couple of weeks ago, and he said that it did seem like people were staying longer in that training that they maybe previously would have been, perhaps looking at something more career-oriented. But is that having an effect on some of these openings, the employers who can't fill positions because there are more people, because of the pandemic, perhaps looking to change their employment focus?
Yeah, definitely. The pandemic had tons of effects on our families living in these communities. And one of that effects is what is their next step, right, in terms of their career? As I mentioned, we have hundreds of folks that are in our programs, at least the training program that the city has put together. But of those that have actually graduated, which we have several hundred of those as well, and have been placed in a job, they're earning anywhere from $15 to about $18 an hour, right? So where somebody may have been earning $10 an hour pre-pandemic and lost their jobs, they're certainly seeing gains associated with those folks that actually have been placed where they're making much more in terms of income.
I want to ask you about the status of San Antonio's economy, but first I want to talk about, there's been a lot of discussion, guesswork that some of the states cut their unemployment benefits that were provided by the federal government to try to incentivize more people to go back to work. Are you seeing any effect right now, or is it too early to tell?
I think it's a little too early to tell. We anticipate that because this benefit was actually just cut about 2 weeks ago, right? And just keep in mind that the folks that were most affected that were receiving these benefits were in large part people who were self-employed, who weren't qualified for the regular state unemployment benefits, right? Every time there's been a stimulus package passed, they've extended the regular state unemployment benefits. So the vast majority of the individuals who are actually receiving unemployment are actually going to continue to receive that benefit through the first week of September, those that were receiving the enhancements and that were otherwise not qualified for unemployment through the state benefits actually did lose their benefits about 2 weeks ago. However, the actual effects of that probably won't be felt for another week or two.
How are you seeing San Antonio respond post-COVID, the economy?
I think the economy is showing some really strong signs of recovery. I think obviously when this topic associated with the labor market is an issue, but that's a process that we'll go through. I think one of the promising signs that we see in the data that we're looking at is that the labor force actually has grown about 60,000 people from last year to this year in terms of the same sort of time frame. That's a really, really good indicator, given the fact that other parts of the country are actually seeing reductions in their labor force. So there's less people that are actually in the job market or in the market to actually go look for jobs. That's increasing for the San Antonio region.
What is your best advice, given where our economy is right now and the job openings that are out there, your best advice for someone who is looking for a position?
Yeah, we would ask them to get engaged sooner than later. We work closely with employers. Just over the course of the last 4 or 5 months, we probably worked to close to about 500 employers, had about maybe 12,000 and host hiring events. So we would ask folks to engage with us sooner than later. If they want to get ready, or are they ready to get back into the job market, certainly we can help them with that. If they want to seek out training opportunities because they want to maybe have a career change, we certainly have those types of opportunities. And so, but we would encourage people to get engaged sooner than later.
What's the best way to do that, Adrian?
Yeah, so we have numerous ways that people can get in contact with us. We have 5 career centers located in Bexar County and another 11 located in the rural counties. But people can reach out to our hotline 210-224-4357 or go to our website at workforcesolutionsalamo.org.
Appreciate your time. The CEO of Workforce Solutions Alamo, Mr. Adrian Lopez. Always a pleasure to talk to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back.